you everyone for joining Zim Ladies Roundtable today. We have Krysta. We're going to let Krysta introduce herself.
All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies, just for the opportunity to discuss with you all, talk about my business and everything, and just introducing me to your audience. Is my audio okay?
Yeah. What can you guys? Can you hear?
All right. As long as you guys can, I'm sure. I think they would too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so again, Krysta McGowan. I am the founder of Critique Consulting. It is an image consulting firm, and my superpower is curating cute, classic, and conservative looks without compromising style. So I worked in corporate America for about 10 years. And I feel like there's such a stigma with being professional, especially for Black women, and what is considered professional in corporate America. And so for me personally, I love to dress women so that they feel confident and empowered in things that actually align with their personal style. Because the goal is always to show up as your true and authentic self. And what better way to do that than through wardrobe?
Very true. Very true. So what styling services do you offer?
So I offer 3 different styling services. The first is like an ad hoc wardrobe styling for special events, for headshots, family portraits, things like that. And then I offer a wardrobe revamp service. So that's where I come to your house, I do a closet edit, a closet cleanse. We go through, based on your lifestyle, what makes the most sense, what, remove the things that no longer align with your goals and your future self. And then I go out and shop for pieces that are going to complement you, whether it's the color, your body type, things like that. And then I provide a style guide for you to know, okay, how do I now wear these pieces? And that is the wardrobe revamp. So I'm completely gutting your wardrobe. And then I have a wardrobe refresh, which is kind of like a maintenance type thing. So it's more so seasonal. The seasons come around. I'll put a few things in there to help you refresh based on what's currently in style, or just, free refreshing, giving you some new pieces to wear. So those are the 3 ways to work with me.
That is very interesting, Krysta. But have you always been interested in fashion? Has that always been a saying that you worked in corporate and you got inspired somewhere along the way? But when it comes to fashion, because, I can throw a couple of pieces together, but I can't really throw a couple of pieces together. You know what I'm saying? So, what's your background when it comes to styling, fashion, and all that?
No, that is a great question. And actually, I get that a lot. So, fun fact, I do have a fashion degree. I have always been passionate about fashion. So my undergraduate degree is in fashion merchandising. But I didn't even know what a stylist was until I was actually in school learning about it. And I also only thought that people styled celebrities or athletes, right? And so my thing was, well, what about the women, the everyday woman, who's going to help her figure out what she needs to wear? And so that's how I kind of leaned more into corporate styling, because actually my mentor, who went to she worked at Clark Atlanta. She was my first client, and she was really big in athletics and had a lot of speaking engagements. And so she was the first one that gave me a chance and said, hey, well, you can come with me to these events and style me. And I was like, wow, I really can get paid for this. And that's kind of how it started. Yep.
That's a great way to start a business.
Right.
But so like when you say I come to you and I don't even know where to begin, I don't know what my actual issue is, how do you determine my personal style? Like, if I don't even know, how do I articulate what I'm looking for? Do I have to articulate what I'm looking for, or you can just look at me and be like, you know what, this is how you can go about your style?
Yeah, so it's easier when the client does know what her issue is. But I will say sometimes you might think you know what your issue is and it's something completely different. So I talk about my framework is like the classy method. That's what it's called. It's actually an acronym. So the C in classy method is actually a conversation, right? It's the consultation, and it's how to build your client profile. So based on that conversation, there are things that you will say that's going to help help me understand what the issue is. So if you tell me, you know, you get frustrated when you get dressed in the morning because you just don't know what works well together. I'm like, okay, she just has a styling, like a pairing issue. Maybe you're purchasing clothes that you think are cute, but you're not thinking about the whole look, right? You know that sweater is cute, but you don't know what pants to go with it. So it's like, okay, well, let me teach her about how to pair things based on her style, right? And then also I get into your lifestyle. What do you do on a daily basis? And also, what do you wear when there's an important meeting at work? What do you wear? Are you in a dress? Are you in pants? And those types of things help me kind of piece together your personal style, where you feel the most empowered. And I talk about colors, you know, are there certain colors you stay away from, patterns, etc. And a lot of times there's some underlying history or things, you know, maybe that have happened, or, you know, things that you just might be self-conscious about. And you're like, wow, I didn't even think that would affect the way I dress. So it all boils down to the conversation. That's why I don't rush through this process with my clients. We get really close because it's bigger than clothes. And I say that all the time. It is. It really is.
It comes, it builds in with self-esteem. A lot of the clothes that you wear, it's who you are.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to, because I find myself sometimes I pick out clothes and then when they get here, I'm like, what were you thinking?
Especially ordering online. That's just
listen, that's a whole different conversation, because these online boutiques, sometimes it's just false advertisement. So that's one thing.
Yes.
But also understanding what materials work well on your body type, you know, knowing that you might need a little stretch, also sizing, things like that. And that's all of the education piece. And that's definitely something that I add to my services, is educating my clients on why I chose these certain pieces and why they look good on you.
So in all of that, what bad experience have you had rebranding or styling someone?
So I'll say I haven't had any horrible experiences where I'm actually working with someone. I've had horrible consultations where I'm like, okay, this is a red flag. Like, it's not going to be a good fit. So there's that. But I think the hardest part of my job is getting people out of their comfort zone. Just because a lot of us have been used to a certain type of environment for so long, especially, you know, Black women in corporate.
Yes.
We're already trying to like be well put together. And now it's like, dang, do I really want to draw attention to myself with this bright yellow blazer? And I'm like, absolutely. Where's that bright yellow blazer? So when you talk about self-esteem, that's when we start talking about, you know, well, why don't you feel like you belong here? Or why are you trying to hide? So I think that's the biggest struggle, is getting them to feel confident enough to actually feel like they are deserving and to wear the clothes, like do it. And then once it clicks, then it's just like the full transformation is just amazing.
Right. And there's a freedom in just coming as you are. So it's, I understand, even just when you wear your bright yellow with your Afro puff and you're moving and you're feeling it.
Oh, yeah. And listen, I mean, you know, we both went to Clark Atlanta University, and if I'm not mistaken, going through the MBA program, they told us, you know, you have to wear these suits and, you know, go for neutral colors. I mean, if all else fails, go for black and white.
Yep.
You know,
and that's that mindset, right? That's that mindset of what was the 80s, the 90s, you know, a lot of them are still, unfortunately, speaking about things that are way back then, even when it comes to hair. You know, now we have the Crown Act, and it's like, okay, well, now we have these acts in place, so let's do it. Like, why are we so afraid of ruffling feathers when it comes to going to work? And even people are talking about, I don't know how many conversations I have about wearing pantyhose at work. It's like, we don't. And even when I went to induction yesterday at CAU, and that's a ritual, so it's a little bit different, but the women were in pantyhose. It's 90 degrees outside, and these poor babies are in pantyhose.
but that's very true, right? And listen, guys, if you go to Krista's page,
Mhm.
okay, I absolutely I love your style,
Thank
and
you.
her, she's bold with it.
Mhm.
She wears bold colors, the things that you think that you can't wear to a networking event and all that. So it's just so refreshing to go to Krista's page and see all these clothes that she wears, and she looks great in them. And but I cannot go to your page and say, "Ooh, I'm gonna wear that dress," right? I can't do that. However, I might really, really want the dress. So my question is,
Mhm.
when you meet a client, how do you handle a client who insists on purchasing an ill-fitting item? Because I know I can't wear everything you wear, Krista.
And
Nope.
I can't wear everything you wear either. Okay. It's all about body type, right? And understanding
Right.
what you want to highlight and maybe some things you might want to camouflage. So,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, Taffy, I do get that. Some clients who might want to highlight certain things or certain parts about their body and they might not understand. Like, for example, legs. If you are like really, depending on the way that your legs are shaped, there's different types of denim that you should wear, right? Whether it's straight
Mhm.
legs, skinny jeans, etc. And so some people are really stuck on what the trend is. So they might say, well, I just want to wear skinny jeans. And it's like, but based on your body proportion, you might want to try a flare instead.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, my job is to educate you and to provide that guidance. But at the end of the day, the client has to make the decision. So, and
Mm-hmm.
my philosophy is always, if you don't feel comfortable in it, don't buy it, don't keep it, because I could hype you up all day. But at the end of the day, if you know that you're not fully confident in it and you're not going to wear it to work, it's going to collect dust in your closet. So that is
Mm-hmm.
always my rule. Don't just try to, you're not going to hurt my feelings. We want to make sure that you are in things that truly complement your body type, right? Complement the colors, complement your skin, and to fully set you up for success, because it's all about what? Building that confidence and really
Mm-hmm.
empowering the women to step out. And I always say going from unsure to unstoppable. So we want you to feel
Oh,
unstoppable when you step out.
yes.
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 So let's say, okay, you've picked out outfits for me. Everything is set up. I have events. But every time you see me at an event, I'm wearing something different. How do you go about with those clients that just don't listen and they continuously, repeatedly do as they please, but the outfits are, again, not pleasing?
Yeah. So that is a conversation about why they keep reverting back. So, and I use that as an opportunity for education, right? Sometimes I'll take pictures. That's another thing. So when we do fittings, when I do in-person fittings, I always take pictures. I always take video. And when you see yourself, that also can be an indicator. Okay, oh, and
Mm-hmm.
then I also like to provide examples, right, of when things fit well. So I talk about
Right.
with like dresses. So yeah, I was just saying that that's an opportunity for me to educate. So this, if
Mm-hmm.
it's a repeat client, um, I'll have those conversations. But at the end of the day, one thing that I needed to realize is it's not my job or not my, role to try and convince someone to make the change, because ultimately that is one of the questions that I ask them is, why do you want to work with me, or what change do you feel that you need, right? So if they feel like, well, my way is better, then hey, I'm totally fine with that. It was great working with you. Let me know if you want to work together again. But ultimately it's their decision. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Do you so I mean, do you ever find that when it comes to styling someone, that they might need a little bit more than just a wardrobe change, um, therapy, for example? I mean, honestly, like you mentioned, self-esteem issues.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have, deep-rooted issues, and you come to find that, okay, maybe a wardrobe change is just not enough to get this person, to elevate, to get them to where they need to be in their careers and, in their personal lives and all of that. Do you ever find that? And do you ever express that to them?
Yeah, so absolutely, Taffy. I mean, you are exactly right. It is deeper than clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I have those initial conversations with my clients, and it comes out in certain times, whether it's during the initial consultation or even sometimes during the fitting, and I see how they operate and, when they're changing clothes. And as women, we're already kind of hard on ourselves, right? And our bodies and just the little imperfections that we have. We're so hard on ourselves. So I always try to make them feel comfortable through that process, just because it's so intimate and so personal. But I've had conversations with my clients saying, hey, are you in therapy? And I'm in therapy. So I share about just my experiences as well. I get very vulnerable of just my experiences in relationships with family, things like that, to let the client know that I'm human just like you, and, feel free to share. Now, I am not a therapist. I am not a coach. So I do give, tell them, hey, maybe you should look into getting a coach, or maybe you should look into getting a therapist. But absolutely. And I think by the time we have those conversations, we're comfortable enough with one another to where they don't get offended and it's received well. Because I'm not saying this during the consultation. This is more so, we've worked together, we're comfortable, we might some wine, and it's during that type of environment.
Right.
And you mentioned family. A lot of times people get their encouragement and sometimes their self-esteem from family members and friends. I have a friend, every time she dresses, she always asks me, how do I look? And my first question, before I'd be like, oh, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. And I realized I was destroying her self-esteem in that moment. So now what I do is I ask, how does it make you feel? Tell me how it makes you feel, and then we'll go from there. Because I know, even myself, I don't ask people's opinions with whatever I have on. If I have it on, it doesn't look right, it is what it is. Because depending on who you ask, they might destroy you in the moment. So it is crucial who you ask, and if you really need to ask at all, because sometimes different body types, different things.
And you said a good thing, is it depends on who you ask, because sometimes it's also a reflection of them. Because so many times people tell me like, oh, if I was your age, I would wear that, or oh, if I had that body, then I could do X, Y, and Z. But it's like, you actually don't know what this body really looks like. I just know how to dress for it. But sometimes it's other people's insecurities, and they might be like, oh, like that doesn't look good. But honestly, I get that from my mom a lot. My mom sends me pictures, and I actually took her shopping years and years ago, and she still wears those pieces, and she still asks me for my opinion on how things go. But some people need that. So it's great that you're at a place in terms of your self-esteem to where you don't feel like you need the other people's opinion. Really what my goal is, to give them space so that they feel confident and they don't second guess what they look like in their wardrobe.
Oh yeah, because I was asking, because I'm a plus size woman. I have my waist low down is voluptuous. So a lot of clothes, it's a bit tricky. So anytime I was asking people, we're like, well, your butt's showing a little too much. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. It's there. Right. There's nothing oh, your boobs are out a little bit. They're there. I've tried. I can only go up so many sizes without it being too much, So I discovered the more you ask, the more your self-esteem goes down. And I literally had, one day at a time, I had to pick myself out of that. And even when I pick outfits, even when I see it, I usually look for outfits on a person my size, because I want to see exactly how it's going to work out. So it's really crucial when it comes to rebranding, especially Black women, because Black women, it's unfortunate. We're just, whether you're small, you're medium size, we are voluptuous. So there's nothing we can really do about it.
And there's a retailer, Express, that I love, that they show like a size
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
6 and a size 16. Like, I love that they have that on the website because I do work with a lot of plus size women. And so I want to know, well, how is this going to look on her? And then I also, when I send looks to her, I send her the plus size model so she can see, okay, this is what it's actually going to look like. Because people, like you guys were talking about earlier, shopping online, we expect to look exactly like those size 2 models, right? And it's like, that's not our reality. So
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, you're not lying. It is not our reality, but um but okay, so I'm interested to know, what is the worst experience you have had when it comes to, while styling or rebranding somebody? What is the worst experience?
So, worst experience of styling someone. Getting the wrong sizes. So I've done a complete, so typically my process is when I do a wardrobe revamp, I purchase all the clothing and I bring it to you so you can try it on in the comfort of your home. That's like one of the perks of working with me rather than going to the malls. So I rely on the client to provide her sizes to me, and I trust her. This has happened more than once.
Oh,
So
no.
now I ask for measurement, not just sizing, and I ask them to go get measured because some people are still holding on to those pre-COVID sizes, and it's like, look, we need to just, we're how many years removed? It's okay if you don't lose those 15 pounds. Let's just, focus on the future. So I have purchased loads of clothing that did not fit, and so it's frustrating for me. But at the same time, I have to still be professional and still just, say, okay, well, let's just go up a size or 2 and then just do the process all over again. So from a time standpoint, it's really frustrating. But my goal is not to make that person feel bad and say, hey, you're actually bigger than you told me. I wouldn't say that. But it's like, okay, well, let's just pivot. And, hopefully some pieces work. And if not, I just take my notes and then go for round 2.
So what advice would you give our viewers about branding and just styling yourself in general if you don't have a Krysta?
Yeah. Authenticity is number 1. So first, figure out who you are as an individual. What makes you tick? What are your favorite colors to wear and why? Right? What are your favorite parts of your body? What do you want to show off? And that's okay. Let's lean into that. And if you can, it's also helpful to find some style icons, whether they're celebrities, people in your family that you look to for some inspiration. Maybe they have the same body type as you, same skin complexion, things like that. That's also really helpful. But lean into your authentic self. Don't try to emulate something that's totally out of the norm. And I think, especially with Black women, we just, and I'm speaking about being in corporate specifically, but we feel like we have to change so much. And I really feel like we are slowly coming out of that. But honestly, leaning into your authentic self is going to be the best way to go about your branding. Figure out the colors that work best for you, because you walk differently, you talk differently when you're actually in things that empower you. And there's a thing called dopamine dressing, and it actually became popular. I mean, it's always been around, but it became popular during COVID or coming out of COVID because people wanted to start feeling energized again, right? We were locked in the house alone and just sad and depressed. So there's a huge push from designers to start incorporating bright clothing, sequins, like embellishments and things like that. And so that's why you'll see a lot of bright colors, a lot of bright suiting and things like that, because it evokes emotion. And there's a whole color psychology or psychology of color studies and how color truly does evoke emotion. And so I just say, lean into that, figure out what your power colors are, and yeah, lean into it.
Okay. Awesome. So which of these current trends, I'm not a fashionista, so I don't even know what the trends are, but which trends do you incorporate in your own styling?
So I am probably one of few stylists that lean into trends. I am not a trendy stylist. And the reason is because I build wardrobes that can be used year round, right? That you can mix and match and that are truly capsules. That is always my goal. So when you start shopping for trends, that trend is not going to be trendy in 6 months, right? And then you can have those clothing pieces sitting in your closet. So my thing is always, let's build out your staple pieces. We can mix and match a few things, you know, every now and then, but in terms of trends, I don't build wardrobes off of that. But what I will say is this new short suit trend, I didn't think that I would ever want someone to wear shorts to work, and not short shorts, but like there's a really pretty short suit from like Banana Republic. They're actually Bermudas, but the material is like a silk and cashmere blend. So it looks very luxurious. It's like high class. But that is a trend that I think is going to start easing its way into the workplace. And it's something that we wouldn't see 5-10 years ago, but that's something I think that is going to definitely be here to stay.
Oh, what size does that come in?
Oh. I'm sure you can get it from different retailers. I don't know what size Banana Republic goes up to, though. I think they go to size 20. I think is the largest size that I've seen from them.
Okay. We're in good books then.
I know, right? I mean, this is for, you know, Tino and I. Which retailers would you suggest, you know, being plus size ladies ourselves, which would be your top, you know, from your experience, which would be your top maybe 3 retailers?
So honestly, Express, I've gotten a lot of good pieces, good quality pieces. I think they changed their suppliers because I used to not even look in Express, but they've done something different. So Express is a good retailer for sure. Dillard's has also stepped their game up. Now my grandma put me on to Dillard's years ago, so I always thought it was like for older people, but they have step their game up with their fashion and shoes, dresses. Dillard's has a lot of good pieces and good quality too. So if you wash it, you could, you know, still get some good wear out of it. And then for a third, I don't really do the fast fashion type of places. So I'll say another big box store, probably a Nordstrom or like a Nordstrom or yeah, probably a Nordstrom.
Those are good options. I haven't shopped it. I don't think I've ever shopped at Express, so I'm definitely going to check it out. I do. I love looking nice. I just can't help it. I have packages coming every week, at least twice a week.
Where do you shop?
I might have everywhere. Instagram is my kryptonite. I have to log off. If I see it, I'm ordering.
Yeah. Those Instagram ads can be also ASOS.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
that's another one.
ASOS. Yeah, let me add that in the mix because they come through.
Listen, I'm calling you. I have a wedding to go to in September. I'm calling you after this, you know, this weekend probably, and we can, because I'm struggling to find a formal dress.
Okay. Where is your wedding? In Atlanta?
DC.
Oh, it's in DC. Okay. Yeah, let's talk. And I'm glad I just did a whole live. So I go live every Monday at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Keeping it classy, Krysta. But I just talked about dress codes because it'll say formal and people come in cocktail dresses or sundresses. So for those of you who are watching, watch that live if you need to educate yourself.
Right. Weddings are no longer what they used to be.
They're not. It's a cookout.
My God.
Yeah. And all of the lives are on my YouTube channel. So yeah. The link is in my bio. But yeah, all my lives are on there.
And how do people reach out to you for consultations and you know, just to get in with you?
Yeah, no. So definitely check out my website. The link is in my bio. And if you click schedule a consultation or work with me, it'll take you right to my Calendly scheduling page. And all my consultations are free, you know, because it's a two-way street. I want to make sure that I would be a good fit for you and you would be a good fit for me. I'll walk you through my process. You can ask, you know, all the questions that you need to, but definitely click the link in my bio. That's how you can get to my website, or critiqueconsulting.com. And yeah, I would love, please also, if you are watching this live and you found out about me through this live, please also mention that in the notes and I'll add a little something extra for you.
Yeah.
I can just make sure, you know, that it's tracked. But I do appreciate just this opportunity. So
thank you for coming. We really appreciate you coming.
And we're doing something, so this is great for us.
Oh.
It is.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're definitely going to need you next year. Tuffy and I have our first big event.
Yes.
Our first big event.
Yes.
I'm excited. We want to look great. We are definitely calling you.
Hey, maybe Krysta can come out there as well.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
You know, we're looking for powerful women to join this thing we're doing next year. So, you know, we'll reach out to you as well and let you know what we're doing. And, you know, maybe we can continue, you know, helping each other out.
I mean, hey, that's what it's all about, right? Building network, building community.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. I mean, you guys know how to get in contact with me. I'd love to do this again. Maybe we could do something, I don't know, about for the fall season or the holidays.
Yes.
So yeah, let's definitely stay connected. Again, feel free to reach out to me for anything. Taffy, I look forward to speaking with you soon for this wedding. But yeah, I am honestly always open to collaborate. So I'm excited to hear about this event next year, though, because that could be special.
We are excited because it's quite an opportunity, and we can't wait. So we can't wait to work with you, and I know you're going to make us look great.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone who joined. As always, like and share, and go to Krysta's page and like and share her page as well.